What's going on, guys? I figured I'd make a bit of an update video since it's been a while since I posted. So I'm gonna get ready to start getting the young birds out this morning and get them all out in the aviary and get them out for a nice morning loft fly. Start getting them out. Pretty clean here. I cleaned yesterday. Probably scrape again once I get them all outside. But they're looking pretty good. They're doing pretty well. Pretty impressed with them. Had them down the road yesterday, only about a mile, but just taking my time with them. They're moving really nice. You'll see in a couple minutes when I get them up in the air. So I'm gonna go ahead and chase them all out. Nice and clear today, there's no clouds. Yeah. You see they'll come back, they'll probably be up pretty high. There's no wind. Nice and cool. They should stay up for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. They're getting kind of bored now. It's time to really start training them down the road. Been loft flying twice a day, every day. Yeah, they're up there pretty high. So basically, this whole section over here is for the flying birds, the homers. And on this side, I got a few ice pigeons, a couple of drop birds, just one pair of them. But if you didn't know, I have these ice pigeons for a long time now. And I've just been breeding them over the course of a few years. I started off with 2 pairs. The bars, as you can see, there's one with bars there, and then there's one with laces or spangles, whatever you want to call them. So I started off with 2 pairs of them, and I've been breeding them ever since. So these are the young birds in here now. There's 4 of them in there, and I'll take you out to the other side. And I got a little breeding cage out there now. I just plan on leaving them in here. I'm probably going to start flying them just for fun. Start letting them out. They're pretty looking birds. I like them. Just something different. I always had something different than just the homers, just to play around with. So we'll take a look outside at the other coop. This here is my new little breeding cage. I got 2 pairs of ice pigeons in here. They got young ones. Open up the back and take a look. Yeah, they're a couple days old. There they are. Not sure what they're gonna be, if they're gonna be bars or laces. Maybe one's gonna be a lace, one's gonna be a bar. I'm not sure yet. I actually banded these yesterday. As you can see, one of the bands fell off. I gotta put this one back on, but this guy's getting pretty big. The other one's still kind of small. So that's this side. Now in this section, same thing. We got 2 young ones over here. There's the ice pigeon here, but this one is actually out of the 2 drop birds that I just showed you in the other loft. I took the egg and I put it under these because they have a hard time raising them with the short beak, so I swapped it out for these ice pigeons. They're great parents, and I don't know what that's gonna be. That's actually a tippler cross with a satinette. So that should be pretty interesting. I don't know if it's gonna have a cap or what it's gonna have. The mother has a cap, the father has a pinch cap. You can tell by the short beak, the beak's much shorter than this ice pigeon here. So pretty excited to see what that turns out to be. I already see some white flights in there, so it might be some sort of a splash, but we'll have to see in a couple weeks what it's gonna turn out to be. But I'm only gonna use it for a drop bird anyway, so this is just birds just to mess around with, you know. I'm just gonna let them keep breeding until I have a whole bunch of them to let out, just for fun. Over here is usually where I keep the ice pigeons. This is my main coop for the ice pigeons. I got 6 of them in here. There's actually 2 more young ones in the back they just raised. But I just keep them in here, and I just let them out every day. Let them free loft kind of, just let them come out. They go around. They don't really fly too much, but they just kind of hang around. And then I got the breeding loft. Cleaned this one out yesterday as well. They give it another scrape this morning. Got the hens over here. They're looking pretty good. He's doing well. Cocks on this side. Got a lot of birds over here. I got a couple stock birds I raised. I left them in here. You can see that one younger blue ball white flight up there next to the grizzle. That's a young one. Keep those for stock. Their parents bred me some pretty nice looking birds this year, so once they molt out and they fill in nice, let's see what they turn out to be. I got their brothers on the flying team right now, so we'll see how they do, but I really like the birds. They're actually Huskin Van Reels crossed with Jansen's, and I believe the mother has a little bit of Havanette in it, so I like the way the birds came out. They filled in nice. They're built pretty well, and I want to see how they fly. Like I said, I'm going to keep the younger siblings for breeding, and that's it. But all the birds looking pretty well. I've been maintaining them like crazy lately, you know, scraping the floors every other day, doing my bleach, my torch. I haven't really torched it in about a week and a half because it's been so hot here. I didn't want it to be too hot for the birds, but it's due for another torching real soon. But like I said, everything's looking good. This young grizzle right here was actually an accident. I didn't realize they had a young one up in the rafters of the loft, but it's going to turn out to be a real nice pigeon. Use that for stock as well. I think it's going to be a little hen. That's out of good stuff too. Barcelona grizzles from Spain. So I'm going to keep that for stock. Probably breed out of it next year and see what we got here. But everything's looking good. A couple small things on the loft as well. I painted these vents. Painted them all black. They were like a beige color when I got them. I just sanded them down, painted everything, just to give it more of a clean look. Kind of goes with the white pretty well on the racing loft. Just keep everything nice and neat looking. But I like the way it looks. Came out pretty well. Got a couple more little things I want to touch up. The aviaries underneath the landing board's got to be painted a little bit. But other than that, everything's pretty much the same. So as the birds are out, I always like to come in here and give it a nice scrape. It's not very dirty in here at all, but I always just like to do it just to keep it clean. But the first thing I always do when I come in here is, you know, a good pigeon guy, you look at the droppings. Look at how tight and how round these droppings are. I know it might seem weird to most people, but that's the best thing that you can do is come here and look at the droppings. That's how you know the birds are healthy. Nice and tight, not watery. And that's it. That's the first thing I always do when I come in. I take note of all the droppings on the perches, on the floor. And that's how I know everything's looking good, everything's healthy. Put a little bit of bleach on the floor, and she's good to go. All nice and clean for the birds to come back. Aviary's nice and clean. Now, how many people could say they clean their loft in flip-flops? That's because my loft never gets dirty enough to where I gotta wear shoes in the summertime. Especially when it's hot out, it's nice, just come in here, got my flip-flops on, jump in the pool after, and that's it. You keep it clean, maintenance is very low. You leave it dirty, on the other hand, you know how it gets. But that's it. This is about maybe 20 minutes of work. Just to scrape the floor, give the perches a quick scrape, and just keep up on it, and that's it. Maintenance is key. Maintain every day. Another big deal for me is cleaning out the waters. Every single day, these waters are cleaned out and bleached out. Now, they're just Pyrex bowls because I have water troughs where the birds don't have access to the waters. This way, they can't get in there and take a bath and get them all dirty. But every single day, these are soaked, cleaned out with bleach, and put back in here, because especially now when it's hot out, they develop sort of a slime around the edges, and it's all bacteria. It's from, the vitamins and everything, but it sits in there and it just develops bacteria, and it's not good for the birds at all. So that's another thing I maintain every single day is the waters. Big deal. and keeping the birds healthy. Yeah, they're getting ready to drop. The thing is here, they can only come in one way. They gotta hook the trees this way, come down lower, and make a straight shot to the board. That's the only thing about the trees, but the birds seem to learn, and once they learn, on the west coast, west course I should say, they'll come in right over the top of these trees and drop straight down to the landing board, which is perfect for me. But when they're in a stock like this, it takes them a couple hooks. They go around inside the trees, and they come back down and they get on the board. But they figure it out after a while. And they're doing pretty well so far. Really nice looking blue right there. That was out of the same pair that I showed you for the stock birds. That's one of the siblings, Huskin and Jansen. Still a couple birds out. They're ready to eat though. This crazy guy over here. Come on, watch out. Let them eat. They'll go back out again at 4 o'clock. Back over here in a racing loft. I've been getting a ton of questions about my loft and the lighting I have in here. I have plexiglass skylights that are bumped out, so they're kind of extruded to the top of the roof. So if you look at the top of the roof from the outside view, of course, they're, you know, raised up to let in more light, but they're just plexiglass lights, siliconed all around. I have this one on this side, this one in this section, and they just produce a tremendous amount of light, and it's great for the birds. And it's a really great setup. I designed this loft about over 10 years ago. But I've been getting a lot of questions about that, so I figured I'd just fill everybody in. Just plexiglass skylights, and you know, the light output is tremendous. It's great. I love it. And that's it. So any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below, and thanks for watching.